Welcome to our next session of SAP training, and today we'll be starting our next topic, which is procurement of stock material. So before we start, let me explain you what is stock material. We have different types of material, and as we go further, I'll be explaining them one by one. But for stock material, it's a type of material for which we maintain the stock in our business or in our company. Okay. For example, it can be your raw materials, it can be your trading goods, it can be your finished good, it can be a semi-finished good. Okay, for these goods, we maintain the stock in our company. Okay, and do the posting for receipt and issue. Okay, so let's start this topic. And the topics that we'll be covering within this stock material will be what is request for quotation, quotation processing, create purchase order with reference, PIR record, conditions, valuation class, valuation area, stock types, material and accounting documents, effects of goods received, invoice and accounting document, and delivery cost. So these are the topics we'll be covering today. So let us start with our first topic, which is request for quotation. Okay, request for quotation. Now, first we need to understand what is RFQ, what is request for quotation, and why we need request for quotation. Okay, so for example, if I'm working in a company and I'm a purchasing officer, okay, I'm an end user of SAP and I'm a purchasing officer. So from the business, I got a requirement that I need to procure this new material. Okay, it can be raw material, it can be something else. So we need to procure this material, okay, for the business, and probably is the first time we going to buy this material. So first of all, what I will do is when I got the requirement to buy the product ABC123, for example, so I need to find the right vendor who can supply the same product, okay, on the right conditions, on the right time, and on the right price. Okay, so in this case, what I will do, I will ask a couple of vendors, okay, that we want to buy this material and give me a price. Okay, it's like in general life, for example, if I need to buy a laptop, what I will do, I will go to 2-3 shops and I will ask them, okay, give me a quotation, give me a price, okay, and whatever price will suit me, I will find cheap and best, I will go for that price. So same thing here, I got the requirement, I will ask a couple of vendors to give me a price, and this will be done via a thing called request for quotation, RFQ. So in SAP system, we'll be creating a RFQ, okay, and ask the vendor to give us a price. Okay, so let's see some theoretically first, and then we'll start some practicals. So far in the previous topics, we have seen that we had just seen that how we can create a purchase order in SAP. Then we have seen that we have done the goods receipt, and then we have done the invoicing document. Okay, so we create the invoicing document. So 3 things we have seen before, but this time we'll be adding another thing in front of purchase order. Okay, and that will be request for quotation and quotation. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll start the process not with the purchasing order but with the request for quotation and quotation. Then we'll move on to purchase order, good receipt, and invoicing document. So let us start with our first part, request for quotation. Now request for quotation, as I said, is a document, is that we got the requirement from the business and we need to find the right vendor. So what I will do, we'll ask vendor A, vendor B, vendor C, okay, give me the best price, and once they provide me that quotation, okay, I will find which is the right quotation for me, and I will select one of them and reject all others. Okay, so whatever I selected as a right one, I will create a purchase order in the system. For others which are not good for me, or maybe the price is higher, I will create a rejection letter. I will reject those offers. Okay, so that's theoretically. So these are the processes we'll be creating in a minute to create a request for quotation. And what we do is, in the request for quotation is we basically use a thing called collective number. Okay, that means collective number is just like a common number for a one requirement. For example, if I need to buy a product, material 1, okay, and I have sent a purchase request for quotation to 3 different vendors. So the collective number will belong to the same material. Okay, so that means that collective number is a separate number assigned to that type of requirement. Okay, that requirement could have been sent to 3 vendors, can be 5 vendors. So that's a common number that is linked to that type of requirement. Okay, so we'll see that practically in a minute. And suppose we have sent the requirement, we ask the vendor 1, vendor 2, vendor 3 to give me the price, and they have sent the price to us. So what we'll do is we receive the price, we'll enter that price in the SAP system, and once we have entered the price, we'll be comparing the price in the SAP system. Okay, so first step is we'll receive the price and we will so let me take a pen. Okay, so first step will be here. You can see we'll receive the price here. Okay, number 1, we'll enter the price. Okay, then in the number 2, once we have entered the price, what we'll do is we'll compare the quotation that is received from all the vendors. Okay, and out of all the quotations, we'll select one which is the right one for us. Okay, and for that we'll create a purchase order, and whatever is not good for us, we'll create a rejection letter and we'll send it to the vendor. Okay, so we'll see that practically in a minute. This is a flow we're going to create in SAP right now. So first we'll create a request for quotation. The transaction code in SAP is ME41. Then we'll assign it a collective number. Then third step will be we'll display and print the request for quotation. And then suppose then we have sent the requirement to the vendors. Okay, give us the quotation. Then suppose the vendor has sent us the price. Okay, so price is received from the vendor, and then we'll maintain those price into those quotation. Okay, then we'll compare the price. Okay, whatever is received from the vendor. Then whatever is not good for us, we'll reject them, the unwanted quotation, and then we'll print a rejection letter. Okay, in the system, and that's it. Okay, and whatever is good for us, and then finally we'll create a purchase order for that. So let's create these steps in the SAP system. So first step we have is we need to create a request for quotation. Okay, so let me create an example here. So from my business, I got the requirement for ABC, procurement of my product number ABC123. Okay, so we need to procure it first time. Okay, and I'm a purchasing officer and I'm told to find the right procurement source for this vendor. So let's see how we can do it. So let me log into SAP system. Okay, so first step we have is create RFQ. Okay, ME41, or you can either go to the menu path here or directly enter the transaction code. So material management, purchasing, request for quotation ME41. Okay, so double click here, or on the top you can enter ME41, press enter. So that's the screen. Here leave everything as it is. So just in the quotation deadline, select a date, what deadline you want. Okay, so deadline will be say 2 weeks in the future, just say 2 weeks in the future. Okay, and then select your purchasing organization and your purchasing group. Okay, so 1000 is the purchasing organization we're using. Group you can choose any, doesn't matter. Then press enter. And in this screen, see collective number, the cursor is automatically on the collective number field. Okay, so here give it a collective number. Okay, so collective number is just like a common number which will give to this requirement. Okay, so you can give any number, or I can put my initial. Okay, so I'll put my initial here, GS. Okay, you can put your initial. It can be any number. Okay, once you are done, press enter. And in the next screen here, enter the material number that you want. Okay, so here I will enter ABC123. Okay, and what quantity you want. I'll say we need 100 pieces of this material. Press enter. Okay, there's a warning at the bottom. Just ignore that warning. Press enter again. There's a message at the bottom. Please enter delivery date. Okay, so what is expected delivery date? So we'll say, okay, expected delivery date will be, say, put a date in the future. I'll say 3 weeks in the future. Okay, press enter. Okay, looks good. So here I'm just entering one material. You can enter as many material as you want. You can enter more than one material here. Okay, now we need to assign it to a vendor. Okay, so to find the vendor here, click on this button on the top, vendor address, and here search for the vendor. Okay, if you remember the code of the vendor, it's good. If you don't remember, you can search for it. Click on this little search button. Okay, so here we created some vendors earlier. So I will say Study Nest was one of the vendor. I'll say Study Nest star. Give me all the vendors starting with the name Study Nest. Enter. Study star. Yeah, there was a space after study, that's why. Okay, so I'll pick one vendor here, say 100501. Once you pick that and then press enter. When you press enter, you can see it will copy all the name, address and everything from that vendor. Okay, once you're done, click on the save button on the top, save. So we have created one RFQ for this vendor. Okay, same way I will create the RFQ for another vendor, say 100,502. Press enter. That's second vendor. Okay, for this vendor as well, ABC Goods Private Limited, I will save it. So second vendor, and I will pick another vendor, third vendor. Say 10. Enter. This is XYZ vendor. Save it. That's it. Okay, so we have sent it to 3 vendors. Okay, so that was the step number 1, where we created RFQ. We have assigned the collective number, and now what we'll do, we'll display and print the RFQ. Okay, so transaction code is ME9A. So go back. So here at the bottom also you can see it's creating the number for RFQ. If you click on the message at the bottom, it will open a message. It generated this number. Okay, that and the earlier 2 numbers should be. So I'll write down here all the numbers. It will be 25, 26 and 27. 3 RFQs we created with this document number. Okay, so right now we go into this tab, which is display and print. So let's go back to the main screen. Here you can see under message ME9A, double click on that, and here it will remember the last number. Okay, so I'll copy this number and say from 25 to 27. We had 3, right? And execute. So you can see here 3 documents all together. Okay, so 3 documents are here. Okay, and so you can see here document number 1 gone to Study Nest vendor, second one going to ABC, third one to XYZ on this date, and that's a partner number, date and everything, who created and all that. Okay, now before you send this one, it's like you sending an email. You can think sending an email, or you can print it, or you can send via fax, depending on what output message you have set up. Now for example, first one I will select that and click on display message. That means I want to see how the output will look like. Click on display message. So it will show you the output. So the output will be looking like this: RFQ, okay, the document number, So here you can see RFQ, document number, okay, vendor vendor name and address, like that, okay. And at the bottom you can also see other stuff like what is the material, how many pieces we needed, and all that, okay. So this is not a very good looking output, but this output can be customized by the developer, okay. So that's one message. And if you look at the second message, say this one, display message, it will be similar but just a different vendor. So here you can see it's ABC Good Company, and that's the address, okay. There's a document number, date, and everything. Scroll down, you can see the item number, PCs, and everything, okay. So once you're happy with this everything, then what you can do is you can select one and click on output message, or you can select all. I can select all by clicking on this select all button and click on output message. That means system will send the output to the vendor, okay. So you will see this tick here, that means message outputted, that's the message here, okay. So we have sent the requirement to to 3 different vendors, and we have asked for a quotation, okay. Give us a price, give us our best price, okay. So we are here, we have displayed and printed the RFQ, okay. Now in another scenario, vendor will receive this request for quotation, and they will work on it and they will send us their best price, okay. So suppose you have received the price, okay. We received the price from all 3 different vendors, so I will write down here. So vendor number 1 was 100,501, okay. So they send us price, say dollar maybe 88, okay, each, okay, per piece, okay. And discount, you can say discount is say 5% discount, okay, on the standard price. Other vendor number was 502, okay. They send us, say 95 is the price per piece, and discount is say 10%, okay. Third vendor 100, 5, 10, they send us the price as say 98, and they're saying discount will be 14%, okay. Just different scenario. So what we'll do, we have received these prices from the vendor, we'll enter them into the system, okay. So maintain quotation, so that means your RFQ, request for quotation, will be converted to a quotation, okay. RFQ will be converted to here, RFQ, request for quotation, will be converted to a normal quotation once you enter the prices, okay. So to open the quotation, okay, ME47 is a transaction. We can go back, and here you can see quotation, ME47, open it, open for the first document, okay. First document was 25, so 25 I will open here, okay. Select the item line and click on this little button, item condition, okay, to enter the price. And here I will enter the price, so they send me $88 per piece, so I will say okay, 88, so that's press enter, so that's a standard gross price, okay. PBXX is the condition, we'll talk about condition later on. And discount is saying 5%, so for discount the condition type here we're using is RA01, okay, RA01. So they're saying RA01 and enter 5%. You can see it's saying RA01, discount on gross 5%, okay. Save it, go back and save it, go back and save. Do the same thing for the second one, sorry, 2. So 26, That will be 26. So the other vendor, select the line, click on item condition. They send me the price as 95 per piece and 10% discount. So I'll say, okay, 95 is the price and 10% is the discount. So you can say 95 and 10. Go back and save it and do the same for the last one, which is 27. Select it, item condition. So they send me the price as 98 and the discount was 14. 98 and 14, all good. Go back, save it. Okay, so we have converted the RFQ to a quotation. Okay, so we have done the quotation part and we are here. We have now we have maintained the quotation. Now we'll compare the price in ME 49. Okay, so we'll compare the price here. So ME 49 price comparison. So here you can enter the quotation number if you want. So I will copy that. Or instead of entering the quotation number, what you can do is enter the collective RFQ number. Okay, that's the use of RFQ number. So I was using RFQ number as GS. So I'll say GS is RFQ and execute. It will bring up all those quotation. Okay, so there were 3 quotation only. So it is showing you all the 3 quotation. Okay, now here you can see, so we have entered those prices and discount. Okay, price and discount. So system is calculating the value for each. Okay, so system is saying, okay, for the first, you can see the first line here, the net price will be 5120. Okay, for this one each, and the total will be 5120 something. And for the second one, price will be 5162 each. Okay, as per the second price. Okay, and for third one, it will be something else. Okay, so what system is doing is, system is comparing all 3 of them. Okay, and it's showing a green one. See, there's a green light here. So green light means that this one is the best price. Okay, so system is already comparing them and giving the answer that, okay, the green light one is the best price. Okay, so you can see that's the best price. So if you're happy with this one, so you can say, okay, I want to go for the first one and I will reject the second and third. Okay, so here what you can do is, to reject it, you can select the second one. So for example, I want to reject it. So I can select this one and I can click on this change quotation here, maintain quotation here. So it will go to that quotation straight away. Okay, and here you can click on this rejection indicator. See at the bottom, tick that. That means we're going to reject this quotation. Save it. Do the same for the last one, third one. Go to maintain quotation, and also I will reject this. Save. Okay, so we have rejected the second and third. So first one we are happy with. Okay, so first one is the right one, and second and third are higher prices. Okay, so let me check something. Okay, now what we'll do is, so we have rejected the second and third. Let's see what's the next step is. Reject the unwanted quotation. Okay, so we have already rejected the unwanted quotation, and now we'll print a rejection letter in ME9A. Okay, so if I go to ME9A, go back to print the rejection letter. So ME9A, I can type here ME9A, enter, and here it was 26 and 27 number quotation. Execute that. Okay, it will display you those quotation. You can select one quotation and click on display message, how the output will look like. Let's have a look. So here you can see this is the printed one. This is the printout it will be sending to the vendor. Okay, and here you can note that this rejection letter for RFQ, okay, to this vendor. Okay, and there's some standard text here for the rejection letter. Okay, so that will be sent to the vendor. So if I go back, so what we'll do, I will select both of them and I can click on output message. That means we have now sent the output to the vendor that okay, we have rejected your offer. Okay, and we are happy with the first offer. Okay, so we are here, so we have done all these steps. So let's move on to the next one. So we got this price, and let's remove this one, and we are happy with this quotation number. Okay, so I'll say okay, quotation okay is that one. Okay, so what is the next step is, now we are happy with the price. Next step will be what we'll do is we'll be creating a purchase order, okay, as a reference from that quotation. So what we'll do, how to create a purchase order, I can go back to the main screen, MA21N. Now because we want to create a purchase order from this one as a reference, right? Purchase order as a reference. So that means system will copy the data from the quotation to this purchase order. Okay, we don't need to do the entry again. System can copy all that. Okay, so let's create a purchase order. So that's the purchase order creation screen. Click on the document overview on. Okay, click document overview on. I'll make it wider and click on this little icon on the first one, selection screen, selection variant. And because we want to refer it to a quotation, so select the request for quotation. So let me run for everything. It will show you all the quotation that is available. So you can see all these quotations are available. Okay. Now, what was the right one? 25. So what we'll do is I'll say, okay, we want to refer it to 25. Okay. So 25 we can copy. So what we'll do is select the 25 and click on this copy button, and system will do the copy. So just keep an eye. If I double click on this one, it will display that document here. Let me show you. If I double click on that, well, it's not showing. It will show you for the requisition, sorry, not for quotation. Okay, so that's a bit different. So to copy that, select that and click on this adopt button to copy that. You will see it will copy the data to a requisition. See? Okay, and there's a message at the bottom is showing me that there's an error message here. You can see there's a red light here. So if I click on the red light, it will show me the message is enter the plant. Okay, so we need to enter the plant here only. So here in the plant section, I'll say 1000 number plant, press enter. Okay, so there's a warning here, just press enter. Press enter again to get rid of the warning, and everything is good. Okay, so here you can see if I go to the tab here, condition, you can see it copied that price, that discount and everything, that vendor, that material, the vendor is here, the price is here, the discount is here. Okay, so the data is copied and I can save it. So my purchase order is ready. Okay, so here you can see the purchase order number. I can click on the message at the bottom and I can copy the purchase order number. So my purchase order number here is this. Okay, so purchase order is ready from the quotation reference. Other thing I want to show is, so like this, you can select your number and you can click on the copy button, and same way you can do it for the requisition, which we'll see in the next chapter. And also you have some setup that I'll show you to change the layout. Okay, so let me show you the change the layout. So that is, when you see this reference here, right? When you see the reference, you can click on this little button here to change the layout. See, change layout. So that means what type of field you want to see here. For example, I can say I want to see the material number. Select the material, move it to left. I want to see the vendor number, move it to left. Vendor name, move it to left, and say tick. So you can notice here it will show you those fields from that document. Okay, so for example, document number 6000025 had material number ABC, had vendor number 100501, and that's the name of the vendor. So every user, okay, I can have my own default own layout here. You can have your own layout here. So whoever like whatever, they can have their own layout. Okay, and they can only select the fields that are available from here. You can see there are a couple of fields available here, and you can select them. Okay, so I will undo the changes. To undo the changes, select that, move it to right, select that again, move it to right, and done. Okay, so that's one thing to change the layout. And the other thing is purchase order breakdown. Okay, so what it is, you can click on this little button to change the breakdown. Okay, so let me show you. Select that. So at the moment, it is showing you the purchase order document number only. Okay, so you can see only the purchase document number. You can say I want to see a material next to it. Okay, you can move it to left. Okay, and you can say I want to see vendor. You can move it to left. If I tick that, you will just see the change. See, it will show you the hierarchy. It will show you the hierarchy. So on the top you can see here. Let me check this one again. So that's a vendor number, that's a document number, that's a material number. Okay, so let me change it to some. So let's see the first one. Just ignore this one, the first one. Okay, on the top you have ABC is the material number, then you have document number, then you have vendor number. Okay, so you can see that in the hierarchy form as well. If I click on this one again, okay, so you can add anything, remove anything from here. Okay, but you can also move it to top and bottom. For example, you want to say I want to see the vendor on the top or purchasing document on the top. Select purchasing document and you can move it to top. Okay, if I save it, it will show you first the purchasing document number, then the vendor number, vendor material number, then the vendor number. So it will show you all three or whatever you have selected in the same order that you have selected in the order here, and you can change this order with this up and down fields. Okay, so I personally like the standard view, so I will remove that, and I will say I'm happy with this one. Okay, so everyone can have their own views. Okay, so that's the end of this first part, which is request for quotation and quotation. So before you move further, I want you to do one little assignment on the server. So just follow these steps. So first of all, create a RFQ for yourself using 3 different vendors. You can use the same material that I used or same vendor, and familiarize yourself with the header and item data of RFQ. Okay, so when you create a RFQ, if I go to transaction ME42, so like every document, every transaction has a header data and item data. So that's the header data. Okay, header data is common for all the items, for all the document. Okay, item data is only specific to that item. Okay, so here is a header number is that, RFQ number is that, vendor is that, okay, quotation type is that, date for RFQ is that. That's the header data which is valid for all the item, and that's the item data. Okay, so that's the item, that's the description, that's the quantity we need, delivery date we need. Okay, you can enter second item, third item, so that is the item specific. So that's header data, that's item data. So first, that's the first step. Second, now you have created the RFQ for 3 different vendors. Now the second step will be, suppose you receive the price from all the vendors, so enter your prices in your RFQ, okay, and create a quotation like I did. Then compare all the RFQ and reject the unwanted quotation, and finally create a purchase order as a reference from the one that you like for the quotation, and also play with the change layout and the breakdown buttons. Okay, as I just did this breakdown and change layout. Okay, just play with the setting and see how they work. Okay, so that's the end of first part. Now we'll start the second part, which is PIR record, purchase information record. Now what PIR is? PIR stands for purchasing information record, and this is like a master data itself. Okay, and in the previous topic I explained you master data, but I didn't explain this master data because this is a master data again, but this is a little different. Okay, that's why I put that in this topic here. Okay, because I need to show you some setup as well behind this one. So purchasing information record is, for example, in my company, right? Material ABC, for example. Okay, so we make a purchase of this material from different vendors. Okay, we make the purchase from vendor 1. We'll purchase it from vendor 1 or vendor 2 or vendor 3. Okay, or maybe one or maybe more than one. So that means when we're purchasing it from this vendor can have different prices, different discount, different condition. Okay, same with this vendor, that can have a different price, different conditions. Same with this vendor. Okay, so that means we can maintain the price of this material with this vendor, with this vendor, with this vendor, and that is maintained in the thing called PIR, purchasing info record. Okay, where we'll maintain the price that is specifically linked to a vendor and material only. Okay, so when we'll buy, so we can either buy from this vendor or this vendor from this vendor. So if we buy from this vendor, system will read the price from here. If we buy from this vendor, system will again read the price, different price from this record. Okay, so that is why we need to maintain the PIR record. Okay, so you can see here in the screen that you need to buy a screw and vendor is 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. So you will maintain that record in the system. Okay. So let me show you some practicals for PIR record. So PIR record transaction is, let me log in to system. Info record, under master data, info record, ME11. Okay, ME11 to create, ME12 to change, ME14 to display. So just say right here ME11 and ME12 is the transaction. So ME11 to create, ME12 to change. Okay, so if I double click on ME11, so here what we do is we're maintaining the price for this material, this vendor, this purchase of this plant. Okay, so that means we're maintaining the vendor and material price, which is purchase org and plant specific. Okay, so that means here I can enter, say plant is 1000, purchase org is 1000, ABC is the material, that is a vendor. Okay, so from this vendor we're buying this material in this purchase org in this plant. Okay, info record number, leave it blank because system will generate a number automatically for this one. And then we can maintain 4 different types of info category. Okay, that means again it has 4 different types of category. So first one is a standard, okay, like standard uh, vendor material price, okay, that will maintain in a minute. Second one is subcontracting. So subcontracting we'll study again later on in the next topics. But what subcontracting means is like when we sending some work as subcontracting. For example, if my company is manufacturing laptop, okay, so I'm doing manufacturing all the raw materials and everything, but just for the assembly purpose, only assembly of the laptop, we sending it to another third party vendor only for the only for the assembly part. So this is called subcontracting. That means a part of the manufacturing process will be done by a vendor, okay, subcontracting. So a third party vendor will only do the assembly, everything else will be done in my company. So that is a subcontracting. So we can maintain a subcontracting record. Pipeline is used for like the name is saying, pipeline, for pipes. For example, where we have receiving some sort of like electricity from the vendor, or gas, or something like that, gas, electricity, okay, water, okay. So in that case we'll be creating a pipeline. Consignment, again we'll talk about consignment later on again in detail, but if you remember in the second topic I told you about customer consignment, okay, where consignment is nothing. Consignment is like when the vendor will put their goods in my company premises, okay, as a consignment. That means they still own the goods, but they put that goods in my company. So whenever my company will need the goods, we'll pick the goods and we'll create a purchase order. So in that case, we'll create a consignment record. Okay. So we'll stick to the standard for now. So standard, select standard and enter your material vendor number, purchase order and plant. Okay. Press enter. Again, in this PI record, there are different views. Okay. One view is called general data. First view is general data, okay, where you can see some general data. Okay, I'll show you in a minute. Then the second view is your purchasing org data, and third view is your plant data. Okay, 3 views are there. Okay, so let's have a look into all these 3 views. You entered your material and vendor, purchase org and plant, and press enter. There's a warning, just press enter again. So that is, you are on the general data. See on the top you can see create info record general data. I'm on the general data screen. As I said here, general data, the first one. So general data, here you can enter what is the vendor material number. Like what, if I'm calling in my company ABC123, what vendor is calling in their company? They may be calling XYZ123. Okay. Telephone number. So just enter the important fields here. So and that's it. Once you're done with this one, press enter. Now I'm on the purchasing org data. Okay, you can say purchasing org data, So here purchasing org data specific will be entering. So you can see plant delivery times, how many days it will take to deliver the goods. So 25. So this 25 is coming from the material master. This. Okay, if I open this material, I'll show you. Open one more screen here. If I open this material, you can notice system is copying. Go to MM02. Here we maintained 25 earlier, I guess. Here, see, plant delivery time is 25. So that 25 here is copied to this one. Okay, and we can change it if you want. You can change it here if you want. You can make it 26 or something else. Okay, and what standard quantity you want to buy. So you can say minimum 10 or standard 10 or standard is 5. You can maintain something like that. What minimum quantity you should be buying, 5 or 10 or 2, whatever you want to enter. And here you can enter the net price. See, net price. And here we'll say, okay, what is the price that this vendor will be charging? Okay, so I'm maintaining ABC material, which is this one, and I'm maintaining with the vendor this one, 105.10. So I'll say 105.10. Okay. So this vendor was charging say $88 per piece. Okay, press enter, and here you are on the purchasing data 2 tab. Just there's nothing, not much here we can maintain. Press enter. Here you can maintain the text. See, you can maintain some text. So some important text, whatever text you can say. Okay, the price is valid till December 2014, for example. Okay, and save it. And also there's another thing you can do is I can from here I can jump to general data, purchase order data, condition data. We haven't maintained the condition data. So condition, if I go to condition data, choose. Okay, so 88 I entered earlier. Okay, so 88 is condition data. Here I can enter, so that's a net price. If you want, you can enter some discount here. Okay, so discount here, select RA01 for discount. RA01. So discount also, okay, discount will be 6%. Okay, so you can maintain price and discount in this info record. So whenever a purchase order will be created, it will read this info record. Okay, also you can maintain what we call is scale price. If you ever heard about the scale price. Okay, scale price is like, I show you. You double click on this price or put the cursor here, click on this scales. Here we can maintain the scale price. Scale price means when we buy say minimum 10, price will be say 84 each. When we buy minimum 20, price will be 80, like that. So that's a scale price. So you can maintain as big as scale prices you want. When you buy 30, price will be 75. When you buy 40, minimum price will be 70. So you can maintain the scale price. So depending on how much quantity you're creating in the purchase order, system will pick the right price from here. Okay, so once you're done with this one, go a step back, click on the back button. So we are ready with the scale prices. Here you can see it put a tick here under scale. That means for this one there's a scale prices maintained. So you can double click on this one to see the display, to see the scale prices, or go back. Okay, go back again, and once you're done, save it. So when you save it, system will create an info record. You can see it created an info record for you. Okay, 53000 record number, something it created. Okay, so next time you create an order, it will pick up the price from here. Okay, and other thing we can do is, so similarly you can maintain, so I created for this vendor, similarly I can maintain the price for another vendor. Okay, so say this time I want to maintain with 01 vendor number. So what I'll do, same thing, change to 01, enter. There's a warning here, press enter. So this vendor is calling it say TTT123, press enter. Minimum quantity is 1, price will be say 92. Click on condition, choose. Here I will enter some discount, say 8%. Will not maintain the scale here, and save it like that. Okay, so you can see I maintained with this one, and I will maintain it with another vendor, say vendor 502. Change it to 2, enter, str, enter price here, say 98, conditions, choose RA. So discount will be say maybe 12%, enter, save. So we maintain the price with 3 different vendors for this one. Okay, now suppose, now the good question here is that how to search for the price. For example, okay, for example, this material here, ABC123. Okay, so I know that we're purchasing this material from a couple of vendors. Okay, and if I need to check that to which vendor this price is set up with in the PI record, how do I check? Okay, so as you know, ME12 is a transaction. So what I'll do, I will go to ME12 here, ME12, and here I will enter the vendor number, material number, and all that. Press enter, and it will show you the setup, price, and everything here. Okay, but suppose if I don't know, I know that this material is procured from a lot of different vendors. Which vendor I don't know. But in ME12, when I go to ME12, I need to enter the vendor number. If I don't enter the vendor number, if I press enter, there is an error at the bottom. It's saying enter the vendor number first. Okay. And if I don't know from which vendor this is procured, how do I enter the vendor number here? There may be thousands of vendors set up in the system. And how do I know that with which vendors this material is set up? Okay, for that we have a transaction called ME1M. ME1M. So that means if I go to this transaction ME1M, see this one, this display ME1M by material. Here you enter the material number and the purchasing org and plant. You can remove the plant and purchasing org if you want, but here you don't need to enter the vendor. System will show you that wherever it is set up. If I execute that, let me remove this. See, it's showing you 1, 2, 3. It's set up with the 3 different vendors. So you don't need to remember with which vendor it is set up. So you can see that it is set up with 3 different vendors. First vendor is 501, 502, 510. Okay, and from here you can double click on any line and it will take you to the PI record. Okay, go back, double click on the first one, it will take you to the PI record. So here I know that, so looking at this one, anyone can see that, okay, this is set up with this vendor. So that's a screen to search for the PI record by material. We have another one, ME1L. ME1M is search by material, and we have another one called ME1L, which is search by vendor. Okay, search by vendor. So ME1L, here for example you want to see, okay, I just want to enter the vendor number and I want to see 100,501, that all the material that are set up with this vendor. Okay, so enter the vendor number, execute that. So there is only one setup with this one. Okay, maybe with this one there may be a lot of other materials are set up, so you can do that as well. Okay, or you can also enter a range from this to this. Show me all the info records. So for this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 5 are set up. Okay. So even if I just go for number 2 only, 2, execute, you can see there are 3 different materials set up with this vendor. Okay, that material number ABC, material number HT1010, material number HT1020. So that's your PI record. And then, so what happens is, like, I just created a PI record. Okay, I will call that PI record again. Okay, that is the vendor number, that is the material number we set up just now, ABC123. Okay, so what we can do is, when I create a purchase order, if I double click on this one, this will display the PI record, and that's a price. Okay, if I create a purchase order for the same vendor and material, system will read the price from here. Okay, let me show the example. Click on create session, and here I will enter ME21 and to create a purchase order. And here I will enter the vendor number was 100,501. Enter. And enter the purchase organization and company code. And in the material, enter the material number ABC123 and quantity say 10. Enter. Okay. Enter a plant. Enter. You can notice the price is read 92, 8% discount. Okay, where this 92 is coming from? It's coming from the condition record. If I go to the condition record, choose, see 92. So 92 is the price, net price, and 8% is the discount. Okay, so 92 and 8%, the net will be 84. Okay, so that's why showing you here 92 and 8% discount. Okay, so system will read the info record. Even you can see that here somewhere. See, here it's showing you that what info record number it's reading here. It's reading info record number ending with 70447. Here also you can see record number is 7047. So system will automatically read your PR record. Okay. So that's info record. Now, let's see how the purchase order will read a record. Okay, where the purchase order will look for a price record. Okay, so whenever you create a purchase order item, okay, system will read that if info record exists or not. Okay, if it exists, then yes. If it exists, yes, that's good. So what system will do is, system will read that record number, okay, info record number and condition, and give it the price to the purchase order like we just did. Okay, if not, then what will happen is, system can read the last purchase order number. That's the second priority. Okay, so system will read the last created purchase order for the same vendor, same material, and copy the price from there if the first one is not maintained. Okay, system will read the last purchase order number that and will read and copy the price from there. Okay, for the same vendor and material. Okay, if they both are not maintained, if suppose this one is also not there, the last purchase order is not there, and it's the first time we're creating a purchase order, and there is no PIR as well, that means you are here. Condition no. Okay, in that case, what you will do, you will enter price manually. Okay, but you need to understand is, that's the first priority, that's the number 1 priority. Okay, that's the number 2 priority, and that's the number 3 you will do. Okay. Okay. Now purchase order in record update. Okay, how we can update a purchase order record. I can go to the change here. For example, I will call ME1M. Double click on that. Open the record. Change, and I can change the manually here. Like here, it's grayed out. But if you want to change it, you can click on condition. Choose. Double click on this one, date, and here I can change the price. Okay, I can say, okay, the new price is 94. Okay, even what you can do is, when I say 94, I can enter a validity. That means I can say, okay, this is starting from today and ending on, probably it's ending on the end of the year. Okay, so I can give it a valid to date as well. That's this price is only valid for that date. Okay, or I can say that price will start from, say, I'll say, okay, this new price is starting from next year, 01/01/2015, for example. So it will be starting, say, for next year. Press enter. Press enter again. Okay, so that's a new price for next year. But still we have the old price. You can see, you still have the old price. And that's starting from, I've done a mistake. I shouldn't be doing it this way, but this price is starting from next year. If you want to maintain for today price as well, I can go to condition, I can choose, I can say okay, there's another price from today which is valid today. It will be say 27. It's valid for this year only. Say 92 is the this year price. Okay, I can save it. So system will automatically, depending on the date, system will automatically read the relevant price. Okay, system will automatically. So if I create a new order this year, then system will pick up that price. And if I create a day order after this date, okay, next year, then system will read the other price, 94. Okay, so that's how we can maintain the PIR record manually. Okay, so that how we can update, basically now we're talking about the updating of the PIR record. Okay, so how we can update PIR record. So time to time the vendor might be changing the price. They might be every year they providing different discount, or maybe every year they increasing the price. Okay, so how do we update the PIR record? Okay, so first thing is manually, like I just did now. Second thing is automatically. That means PIR record can be updated automatically. Okay, how is the automatic process possible? When you create a PIR, when you create a purchase order, that's my purchase order I just created, right? In the purchase order here, can you see this one, info update? Can you see this one, info update? Okay, that means if whenever you create this a new purchase order, okay, you can make is a default tick or untick. Okay, let's suppose this, for now this is default tick for me. Okay, that means if I change a price here, that will ultimately change the price in the, for example, now it's copied this price. Okay, if I change a price here, I'll say now this price is 98. Okay, system will update the info record because I have changed the price here. Okay, that's automatic. If this is ticked, then only when you change a price here, so whatever the latest price in the latest purchase order, system will update that in the info record automatically. Okay, if this is ticked. Okay, you need to make sure this is ticked. Okay, now how we can customize the system to make it default tick and default untick? How do we do that? So depending on the business requirement, one business will say yes, we want to automatically update. Other business will say no, we don't want to automatically update, we want to manually update. Okay, so how we can customize the system so that this is default tick or default not ticked? Okay, let me show you. So this requires some customizing as well. Okay, so if you remember that I told you before that we're not starting the customizing right now, so we'll start customizing very soon. And we just, at the moment, we're just understanding the business processes provided by SAP MM and also how the end users are using the system. Okay, but only for this specific topic, I need to show you the customizing only for this one, but full-fledged customizing will start very soon. So how we can customize this setup? Okay, so this setup can be customized via the menu path here that I have shown you. Step one is to create a profile. In the customizing, we need to create a profile using this menu path. A second step is to assign the profile to a user. Okay, so let's do the first step, which is to create a new profile. So we need to go to the customizing menu. So go to the home screen and SPRO is the transaction to go to customizing. Okay, again, when we start the customizing, I will explain this one again in detail. But for now, enter SPRO, click on SAP reference IMG, and here we'll follow this menu path, MM purchasing environment data. MM, material management, purchasing, environment data, and then default value for buyers. Setting, open this one, setting for default values. Here we can create a default value. What we need to do is to, so you can say there are some default values 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 2. If I select one and go to detail, so here you can see, let me create a brand new one, or I can pick a new one. So for example, even if you want to create a new one, I can click on new entry. I will call it ZG. Okay, default value, I'll put my initial GS. Okay, so here you can select info record update. Okay, how the info record update should happen for purchase order. Okay, what do you want to do? No update, that means unchecked. Update with planned or without planned. So what that planned means is, when you create a PIR record, let me explain the PIR record again. When you create a PIR record in M11, so one thing you enter is purchase organization and plant. Okay, and press enter and maintain the data here. Okay, but other thing you can do is, let me go back. Other thing you can do is, I can remove the plant. I can make the plant blank, and I will create a PIR record which is common for all the plants. If I do not mention the plant here, that means I'm creating a PIR record for purchase organization specific, which is valid for all the plants. So it can be plant specific, it can be non-plant specific. So here if I enter, I can create a record in the same way like we did before. Okay, but this time, because we did not enter any plant, so that means this record is valid for all the plants if we do not enter the plant. Okay, so that's what it's customizing saying here. So no update, update with or without plant, update with plant only when there's a plant there, or update without plant. Okay, just for now you say pick A. That means update with or without plant. Okay, so for purchase order we want to maintain, and quotation also you can say the same thing. Okay, from the quotation as well, system can update the info record from the quotation. Okay, so you can say no update for the quotation. So you can say, okay, we just want to update the record from the purchase order, not from the quotation. Okay, so leave it A and save. So I created GS. So here it will ask you, for first time you will do it, you will see a blank here. You will see a blank here. Okay, when you see the blank here, it's asking for a transport request, and I'll explain about transport request later on, but for now you can click on this create button, give it your name of the transport, what you're doing. Okay, so I'll say transport request GS. I'll put my initial. Okay, and click on save button, and next time it will always remember your number. Save it, for we created ZGS. Okay, so that's the first part, that we need to create a profile like this. Okay, so that's the first part here, and second part is to assign that profile to a user. Okay, so what is user? So every user in SAP has a profile. Okay, like I have a profile, you have a profile. So everyone who want to log into the SAP system, right? I want to log into this system. I need to enter my username and password. Okay, that means I have a user profile created. Okay, so user profile, you can see that in transaction SU01. SU01 is a transaction to see a user profile. Okay, for example, if I want to see my profile, I can go to /n SU01 So I'll put my name here. If you have a profile, you can put your name and click on the change button. And here I have a profile, and just go to the parameter tab, parameter. And here there's a parameter called, you need to enter a parameter called EVO, EVO, and enter the value that you created here. EVO, I'll say ZG. Okay, so ZG. So for myself, enter. Okay, so that means ZG is the profile assigned to my ID. Probably your ID or maybe somebody else's ID can have a different profile. So whoever this profile assigned, they will have this setting activated. That means for them, the purchase order will be automatically updated. Okay, sorry, from purchase order, your info record will be updated. Okay, and I can save it. Done. Okay, so that's how you can create a customize a profile. Okay, and so this will basically ultimately update your info record automatically. Okay, so as I said before, either you can do it manually or automatically. So every time there is a change in the price in your purchase order, it will change it automatically in the info record. Okay, so that's the end of the PIR topic, purchase information record. Now before you go ahead, I want you to stop here for a minute and do this assignment. So first of all, create a PIR record for the vendor and customer you wish. How would you search and change or delete a PIR? Okay, that's another important question. How do you delete a PIR? Okay, so let me show you. Deleting a PIR is also easy. You can use ME15 here. Okay, and here you can take this one, complete info record and purchase info record, save. That means purchase order cannot reference to this info record. Okay, ME15 is a transaction. ME15 is a transaction. You can also call it from ME12. When you change an info record, you can go to extra, deletion flag. It will take you to the same screen and you can do it here. Okay, so once you're done, save it, done. So you can mark it for deletion. So just create a PIR record for a vendor and customer, practice this, and just see how you can search and change a PIR record. Okay, especially I want you to concentrate on transaction ME1M, ME1L, and how to find that who created a PIR. Okay, how to find that? If I want to see that who created this PIR, okay, so I'll show you. When you open the PIR record, you can go to here, go to extra, admin data. So it will show you that the person name who created and the date. So that's a person name here and that's a date. Okay, so I can go back. So that's your PIR. Okay, so within this topic now we'll start our next topic, which is condition. Okay, so all the topics from here now on, they are more theoretical and less practical. So let's start conditions. What is conditions? So condition is nothing, it's just the price, different types of prices that we want to use in our system. Okay, so these prices can be maintained like we just maintained in the info record. It can be maintained in the quotation. It can be maintained in the agreement. Okay, it can be maintained in the purchase order. Okay, for example, I just maintained a price here, right? Condition, click on condition. So choose, so here we have condition type PB00, which is a gross price, RA01 is the discount price. Okay, so we have created two types of condition here. One is a gross price, one is a discount price. Okay, same way you can maintain some other condition. For example, within this one you can also maintain some other condition. There are so many condition here. For example, there's one for freight. See, FRA1, one for freight. Okay, so freight charges, I'll say 2%. Okay, so 2% the price charge. So you can also maintain this freight condition as well. Freight, discount, and gross price. And you can save it. Okay, so basically you can maintain your conditions in your info record. You can maintain in the quotation and in the purchase order. So in the if I show you the quotation ME47, so here select the item, click on this item condition, and here last time we maintained the gross price and discount, and here also you can maintain the freight. There's so many here, just select freight. So freight can be say 3%. Okay, so you can say freight condition already. So I can maintain in the quotation. Quotation will again copy the price to purchase order, or I can directly maintain in a purchase order. So here, see, we maintain net price, discount, and here I can also maintain a freight as well. Okay, same thing. Okay, so that these are the conditions, and that you can maintain in, say, there's another thing called agreement. We'll talk about agreement later on, but you can maintain for now conditions, which is the different prices in quotation, purchase order, info records, and all that. Now the point to be noted here is there are two types of conditions. Okay, one is time dependent. Okay, so the condition that you maintain in the contract, you can also maintain the contract. We'll talk about contract later on. The condition that you maintain in the PIR and contract are time dependent. For example, here if I show you the PIR ME12, so remember here we maintain, go to conditions, we maintained the time dependent. Okay, so that's a time dependent. From this time to this time, this will be valid. Okay, so you can maintain a time dependent, or you can say, okay, starting from now, but at the end of this year, or end of this month, or end of this week. Okay, so they are time dependent. So the condition that you maintain in the info record and also in the contract, they are time dependent. Okay, so you can specify a time. Okay, starting from today, or starting from next year, or ending on a particular date. Okay, but the condition in the purchase order is always time independent. That means you can't put in time specific in the purchase order. There is no option for that. If I open a purchase order, so there's a purchase order here, so you can see a conditions here. So you can see there's no option for a time dependency. There's no date field here. That means it doesn't make a sense that a purchase order has a time specific condition, because time specific condition we put in those cases from where we do the copy of the price. From purchase order we do not copy the price to anywhere. No, not at all. Okay, however, we copy the price from PIR record, even from contract. From the contract we can maintain a purchase order from a contract. Same like a quotation. From a quotation we can maintain a price and we can copy that price to purchase order. So in quotation we can maintain time dependent. However, only in purchase order it's always time independent. Okay, so time dependent and time independent conditions. Okay, so that's end of the condition. Now we'll talk about some another theoretical topic, which is material valuation. What is material valuation? Okay, now let me show you here something. Now in my company, okay, we have a lot of material. Okay, material ABC 123, material number second material HT 1010, third material may be ABC 1 2 3 4 5 and so on. Okay, now these are the stock materials. Okay, so maybe this is a laptop I'm selling, this is a PC, this is a laptop bag or something. Okay, so we need to maintain the stock of the material. Okay, and that's just one thing. The stock is one thing. I'll come back to stock in a minute, but we need from the finance side of it. Okay, from the finance side or accounting department side, we need to have a valuation of all the material to know our assets. Okay, how much asset we're worth in our company. So that means we need to know that, okay, if in my company we have say 1,000 pieces of this product, then what is the value of this product in dollar? What is the value? Okay, same for this one, same for this one. That means from finance side perspective, we need to have the material valuation. Okay, we need to know that how much material we have in our company and what is their value, what is the worth. So what is the company assets? Okay, so that's why it is important for the system to maintain the material valuation. Okay, so that's the reason of maintaining the material valuation. And now we'll understand how the material valuation is done. Okay, material valuation can be done in, now when you say I want to evaluate my material, okay, so first question will be at which level? You'll say I want to do the valuation, but at which level? Which level means we can choose from two levels. Either I can say, okay, from company code perspective, which is a top level, okay, extreme top level, which is a company code level, which I explained in the second topic. So you want to evaluate from the company code level, or you want to evaluate from the plant level. That means plant number 1,000 has 1,000 pieces, this much value. Plant number 2,000 has 2,000 pieces, this much value. But other option is company code. Company code means for all the plants we want to see that, okay, for all the plants we have 10,000 pieces and this much value. So at which level you want to maintain your valuation, at which level? Okay, so here you can see those two levels again. So here you can say, okay, I want to maintain that at here company code level, or you can say, okay, I want to maintain at plant level. Here the second level is plant level. So if you say company code level, that means if company code has say plant number 1,000, plant number 1,200, so between all the plants 100 pieces are there in plant number 1,000, 200 pieces are there in this plant. That means we can, that means the total stock between both plant will be 300. So at company code level we'll be checking the value for 300 pieces. Okay, so from here we'll be checking the value from 300 pieces. But if you maintain it from the plant specific level, so at plant number 1,000 we have 100 pieces, plant number 1,200 has 200 pieces. So at this plant we have 200 pieces, this much value. At this plant we have this much pieces, this value. So here we're just looking at the plant specific, or we can say we want to value from company code level. So company code level will add all the plants, all the stock, and total value will be given. Here it will be divided between all the plants. So that's only the difference from which level you want to see. Okay, there's a one thing. Then there's a thing called valuation class. This thing called valuation class, what it is, when you create a material master, if I open a material here, like we created this some material master record earlier. If you go to the accounting tab 1, from here you can jump to the accounting tab 1. Okay, here you can select say valuation class. See, there's a valuation class is 7920. If I open the search button, I have two options here, 7920, 7925. So 7920, just select this one for now. 7920. So what is valuation class? Okay, so valuation class is assigned to every material. Even if I open a different material, say valuation class here is 3100. Okay, so this is 3100 because this is trading goods. You can see on the top here, this material type is trading good. That material is 7920 and that is a finished product. There are different types of material. Okay, so the reason for maintaining the valuation class that is assigned to every material is for the finance perspective. So when you have a valuation class assigned to any material, so that will tell the system to where to post the stock for that material, to which account. Okay, because as you know that from finance side, there are different types of general ledger account, okay, GR account or stock account or vendor account or clearing account. There's so many types of account in the finance system. So we are not a finance consultant. We don't need to worry about that for now. But we need to understand what is the purpose of the valuation class here. Okay, so the only purpose of the valuation class that is linked to a material number, so that system knows that to which general ledger account I need to post it. For example, if one material number A has valuation class 3000, system knows that I need to post it to general ledger account number this, which is linked to this valuation class. For second material, if valuation class is this 3001, system knows that I need to post it to this general ledger account because that general ledger account is linked to that class. Okay, so that's the purpose of the valuation class. So that's why we maintain the classes for all the materials, so that system knows that because of this class, system has to put the link to the this general ledger account, okay, for the valuation purpose. Then we will talk about price control. Okay, price control. There are two types of price control. Okay, so price control is one is called standard, one is called moving average. Okay, so let me explain this one again. So for every material, let me close this. You can see here, every material has price control. Okay, here you can see V. If I see the search option here, it's V. V is moving average. Okay, and that they both are V. It can be S as well. It can be S as well, standard or moving average. Okay, so I will explain you what it is. So what we call is price control. Okay, so what price control is, we have two types of prices. One is called standard price. Second is called this is called S, equal to S moving average price, which is called V. Okay, so the purpose of this one is, for example, any business can decide their own that whether they want to maintain a moving average price or whether they want to maintain standard price. Okay, so that means that, for example, if I have a material in my company ABC123, okay, so whenever there is a we issue the material, okay, that means for production we issue the material or we receive the material from the vendor. Okay, so what price it should be calculated, it should be linked to. That means if I have received, okay, say 100 pieces from a vendor. Okay, so what is the price for 100 pieces? Because I said from the accounting side of it, SAP, we need to have a valuation for every material. Okay, So what is the dollar value? What is the dollar value of 100 pieces? Okay, so it can be either linked to a standard price. That means we can maintain a standard price for ABC material. That means okay, we'll say that okay, ABC has a standard price. ABC 123 has a standard price here, which is S, and value is equal to dollar, say 23 each. Okay, $23. Okay, so that means if this is maintained as a standard price system for 100 pieces, what will the value? Value will be 100 multiplied by 23. That means we have a standard price. But we can also say that okay, ABC is not maintained as standard price. ABC is maintained as moving average price. So I'll explain you. It can be a moving average price. So what is moving average price? Okay, which is V. So moving average price is nothing. Moving average, as the name is saying, moving average. That means the price is not a fixed price like a standard price. It will keep changing. It will keep changing when we have received a goods from the vendor. Okay, it will refer to the price of the purchase order. Okay, so in this case, if I remove this one, and we only talking about the moving average price V, in this case it will look for the purchase order price, okay, to calculate its moving average price. So purchase order price will decide what is my moving average price. Okay, so that means the moving average price will always keep changing depending on the purchase order price, okay, and also the invoice price, purchase order or invoice. Okay, so it will keep changing from, so if you receive goods from the vendor and the price was $22 per piece, so here the moving average price will be 22. It will be average again, but for now you can say it will be 22 each because of purchase order, because in the purchase order that was the price. Okay, and depending on the invoice it will also change as per the invoice, that I'm going to show in a minute. Okay, so that's a definition of moving average price. So in a nutshell, the main difference is the other one is a fixed price. Standard price is a fixed price that is calculated by the finance department. However, moving average price will keep changing depending on the purchase order value every time, but this will never change. This will be calculated and fixed by the purchasing department and enter here. So here you can see there's a moving average price. Okay, because this is V, this is a moving average price. If you maintain S here, then the standard price will be entered here by the finance department. Okay, so finance department maintain all the standard price. Okay, but moving average price is calculated automatically. Okay, same here, it will be calculated automatically. Okay, so I hope you understand the definition of standard price and moving average price. Now we'll see some example here. Okay, so here you can see the same thing again. So price control can be, as I said before, can be either V, moving average price, or it can be your S, standard price. So that means when you talk about the standard price, okay, so standard price is a 200 is a standard price. Okay, so if you received a purchase order, okay, if you received a purchase order and the value was say 250 in the purchase order for 10 pieces, for example. Okay, so in the case of moving average, the value from the purchase order will be posted straight away because a moving average linked to the purchase order. But when you talk about the standard price, in the standard price system will still post the standard price. it will not care that okay, it's 250 for 10 pieces for from the purchase order. It will still post the standard price, and in the GR account it will post the 250. Okay, and the price difference it will be posting here. So main point to be noted here is in the stock account, system will always put, when it is standard price as, system will always put the standard price here. Doesn't care what is the purchase order value. Okay, but here in this case, moving average price, it will, in the stock account, it will always put purchase order price. Okay, but in this case, it will put the standard price and put the difference here. Okay, so you can see that they are the different types of general ledger account, and one side is credit, other side is debit in this one. Okay, so let's see the same example in more details. So let's see the example of a standard price. Okay, standard price, which is a constant price. Okay, so suppose we have a material, we have 100 pieces in the stock, and the standard price is 200 pieces. Okay, and price per piece will be 200 divided by 100, 2 piece. Okay, so that's the stock of the material we have, that's the value of the stock. Okay, now suppose tomorrow we received a purchase order. Okay, and purchase order has 100 pieces of the same product, and $2.40 was the price. Okay, so in this case, what system will do is, because it's a standard price, system will put the standard price, because the standard price was 200 earlier. So system will put those 200 price to the stock account. But in the GR, good received clearing account, it will put 240. So good received is just like when you were doing the MyGo. Okay, for the good received you're doing for a purchase order. Okay, so in that case, in the stock account, it will always put the standard price. However, the actual price it will be putting here in the GR. Okay, and the difference between both will be putting on the expenditure from price difference account. That's another type of general ledger account. Okay, so here you can see that the main difference is still we're receiving a purchase order of $240. Okay, but system is putting 200 for 10 pieces, for 100 pieces. Why? Because it's still calculating from the standard price here. Okay, standard price here. So next we can add another scenario. Say in the next scenario we receive the invoice. Okay, invoice received. Okay, Myro, we're doing the invoice received, the third step, where the price was changed. Earlier the price was 240 from the purchase order, but here they have changed the price. They said okay, no, the price was wrong before, now the new price is 220 per 100 pieces. Now what will happen? So there's a third step done, and there's a final step. So in this step, what will happen is system will put the 240 the same as earlier before in the clearing account, but vendor account will be credited with 220 about this price. That's the final price of the invoice, and the price difference between 240 and 220 will be posted to the price difference. Okay, again, if you do not have any finance background, it might be confusing to see all these types of accounts, general ledger account, but for us we just need a basic understanding from SAP MM perspective. Okay, we don't need to worry about how the general ledger account works and all that. Okay, just a basic understanding. So the basic thing is, you can see, doesn't matter what was the price in the purchase order, what was the price in the invoice received, system will always post the standard price to the stock account, and the difference will be posted in the difference account, in the other accounts. Okay, so it will always consider the standard price for the stock account. Okay, now if you want to see the same scenario in the moving average price, so that's a moving average price, same scenario. Let's start from the beginning. We have this material is maintained with the moving average price. That means we don't care about the standard price. We have a V, moving average price. So we have 100 pieces of the stock. 200 is the value of the material of the stock, and that's a stock account. Okay, now we received the good received for a purchase order of the same price, 100 at 240. So because this is a moving average price, so this time you can notice that system will put in the stock account 240. Okay, so it will link to the 240. It will put the 240 here because a moving average. Okay, and next it will put, so suppose later on you receive the invoice and the invoice was saying no, the right price is 220 each. So 100 pieces will be 220. So system will put the difference of $20 into the credit here. So debit and credit. One side is debit, one side is credit. So it earlier it put 240 here, but it will this time it will say okay, there was $20 difference, so $20 difference will put in the debit side of it. One side is debit or other side is credit. Okay, and the vendor will be credited with 220, this price of the invoice. Okay, 220. So there's a vendor payment account, you can say 220. Okay, so the point to be noted is the stock accounts are always updated as per the purchase order value or the invoice value in the case of V. So in the case of V, so they will be update as per PO or invoice. Okay, or invoice, and this is standard. This is standard price. So stock account will always be updated accordingly. Stock account. Okay, so we just need a basic understanding of it. Don't worry about all the general ledger account, how they work and all that. Okay, so next we have is next part is stock type and valuation and good receipt in the warehouse. Okay, so let's see what this is. So basically now we'll talk about, earlier we talked about our request for quotation. We have seen purchase order. Now we'll talk about good receipt. Okay, some more topics within good receipt. So in the company you can see the stock. How do you see the stock? Okay, so there's a transaction called MMBE, but before I show you the stock in the system, you can see here that you can see the stock from different levels. Okay, so on the top you have a client level. Client has client has two company code, and each company code has different two plants, and each plant has two store location. Okay, so either you can look at the stock from the store location, so you will see the store location stock is 300 here, 600 here. But when you see the stock from the plant, what is the stock in the plant? 1100. So total is 900, 300 and 600, 900. What is the stock at the company code? So it will be 2100 because it's adding here all the plants. Okay, what is the stock at the client? So client will be adding all the company codes and everything which is linked to them directly, like plant and store location. So depending from which level you see the plant stock. Okay, so let's see this one practically. To see a stock here, so you can follow the menu path here, inventory management. Inventory management, goods movement, environment, sorry, stock, MMBE. Okay, or you can directly type here MMBE, enter. For example, you want to see the stock for this material, ST1010. Okay, I can enter a plant, I can remove a plant, execute that. It will show you for all the plant if you remove the plant from here. So here you can see the same thing as I was talking before. So basically what's showing you here is, so unrestricted stock. Okay, so it's showing you from the plant level. You can see there's a plant level. Okay, and there's further level down. There's further level down stored location here. Okay, so basically it's showing you, let me show you. So this material ST1010 is set up in the different company codes. Okay, that's a company code, that's company code, that's company code. The different company codes here. Okay, if I open the first company code, say 1000 company code, so it has plant 1000. So it's maintained in 1000 plant, and that 1000 plant has this much stock. Okay, so under 1000 plant you can see there are 1007 pieces company code, and under that you have this plant, same 1007. Under that you have storage location, the same. Okay, if you look at here at company code 3000 company code has this much stock, and is coming from the plant 3800, and is coming from the plant from the storage location this 0001. Okay, and you can add them all to make the full. Full means 102066. Where it's coming from? That's a sum of all the company codes, all the company codes. That's what I'm showing you here. That depends from which level you're looking at the stock. If you look at the from the top level, which is a client level, okay, client level here, 400 client level, it will add up all the company code like here. From the full, which is a client level, I can see it's adding up all the company code. Okay, if you look at from the plant level, that's a plant level. If you look at from the store location level, that's what is the store location. Because there's only one storage location for this one, that's why you can see one. There can be more than one storage location, and the stock can be maintained under that store location as well. Okay, so if you have two store location, that will be added for this plant level, and all the plants will be added for a company code, all the company code will be added for a client. Okay. Now we'll talk about evaluated goods receipt. Okay. So what happens is, whenever we receive the goods, for example, we raised a purchase order with a vendor. Okay. And suppose we receive the goods from the vendor. Okay. So once we receive the goods from the vendor, so either we can put the incoming stock into three different types. First type is unrestricted stock. You can see here the number 1 on the top, unrestricted stock. That means it's a good stock. If everything is fine, it can be used further. There's no restriction. Okay. Second one is a blocked stock. Probably you can block a stock because the quality is not good. Okay, or maybe something is broken in the shipping or something. Okay, and we can't use those stock. And the third type is quality inspection. So quality inspection means whatever we received, first our quality department will check the quality of the stock, and then it will be used only. That means in my company, we never use any new received material without the inspection by the quality department. So in that case, what will happen is we can put the stock here as well. Okay, so whenever you receive the goods, you can put the stock in any of these three areas. Okay, and that is something controlled by a thing called movement type. Movement type, which is very important part in SAP consultancy role. So movement types, this is controlled by movement types. Okay, movement types. So for example, I recently created a purchase order, right? I will open that purchase order. ME22N is the transaction for purchase order. So that's the order we created recently. I'll copy that purchase order, right, for this material we created, and I will do the good receipt. Okay, so what's the transaction for good receipt? MyGo /n MyGo. Enter. So I think I did tell you earlier that when you put /n means if you just press on the /n, that means go to the home screen. Okay, and if I'm on a different transaction, say any transaction, if I directly put MyGo, it will not work. Okay, it will not work if I directly enter MyGo. So /n means go to the home screen and then go to MyGo. Okay, so here we'll do the good receipt. Select the good receipt from this one, the drop down for a purchase order, and paste the purchase order number here and execute. You can notice here that by default good receipt movement type is 101. Okay, what is 101? That's a 1 here, 101. Okay, so 101 means even if you open this search box, so 101 means good receipt for purchase order into warehouse. Okay, so by default is putting up the right movement type. Okay, let's close the bottom screen. So here, if you want to receive the good, you need to say okay, stick okay here and say 100 copies copied from the purchase order. and 101 is the movement type, and see by default is saying stock type is unrestricted. So I can change it to quality or blocked. Okay, so here I can say, okay, the good received is in the quality inspection. I can say unrestricted, it will put the stock in the unrestricted. I can say in the quality, it will put the stock in the quality inspection. If I show you the overview screen of the stock here again for this one MMBE, the one we have just seen. So here you can see also that that's an unrestricted stock. That's a quality inspection. It will show you if something is in the quality inspection. Let me show the other material. Say ABC 123. So here you can say that's a unrestricted for this one. This quality inspection is one piece, and on order is 220. Just ignore the order on order for now. But for here you can see quality inspection is this much, unrestricted is this much. Okay, that's waiting in the quality inspection. So when you receive something, you can here change where you want to put it. If the quality is not good, you can directly put to block. If the quality is okay, you can say, okay, quality inspection. Okay, so quality inspection, and you can click on check that everything is okay. Saying enter store location. I'll enter the store location here, 0001. Check now. It's showing you the green light, all good. Click on post. Done. Okay, so we put the stock in the quality inspection. Okay, if I refresh this screen here, it was old value was 1. If I click on this refresh button, you will see it will add 100 pieces here. See, now it was 100 before, it was 1 before, now it's 101. Okay, 100 just added because we bring new stock into the quality inspection. Okay, so that's how you can receive the goods in the quality inspection. Okay, so once the good is received, you can receive either, as I said, in quality inspection or unrestricted or blocked. Then later on you can change it. You can move it from one type to other type. You can move it from quality to block, or quality to unrestricted, or unrestricted to block, or unrestricted to quality. That means you can move between all three different types of stock. Okay, for example, we have just received the stock. Now we'll say that my company people will be, the quality people will be checking the quality of the goods. Okay, if they're happy, we'll put the stock in the unrestricted. If they're not happy, we'll put the stock in the block stock, and it will be further sent back to the vendor. Okay, so for example, in this case, say in my case, I just received a purchase order and I put that in the quality inspection, 100 pieces. Okay, now if now later on the quality people came back to me and they say, okay, the goods are okay. Okay, the quality is okay. So what we need to do is if the quality is okay, we need to send it to the unrestricted type, because if you put the stock in the quality inspection or blocked, no one can use it. No one can withdraw from the system. Okay, so we'll talk about the withdraw things later on, but system will not issue those type of stock. It will say, okay, I don't have any stock. Okay, unless you put the stock in the unrestricted. So that means we receive the stock in the received goods in quality stock. Okay, quality inspection or quality stock. Now we are happy with the quality. What we need to do is to send it to the unrestricted stock. Okay, so how to transfer a stock from one type to another type? Like here you can say you can transfer from one type to another type. How do we do that? So that's very easy. Before I show you how to transfer that, I'll show you another thing, which is here. So we created this material document number 5. Let me click on that. Material document is that. Okay. If you want to call this material document, you can go to display. It will remember the last number. Press enter. Okay, so that's a material document. Okay, and you can see that's in the quality inspection. If you go to the here this tab, document info, and if you click on the FI document, so for the good received, system will automatically create FI document. If I click on that, it will show the accounting documents created. You can see that's the accounting document created, and that's another document created, which is the finance side of SAP. Okay, you can double click on any document, it will take you to that document, which is linked to. So that's a quality document. Sorry, accounting document. Okay, that is linked to this unique material document number. Okay, if you forget this document number, how do you find it? You can open the purchase order. It will be linked to that one. And the purchase order history, you can see what happened to this purchase order. In the history, you can see that's a material document created. You can click on this link. It will take you to the material document. That's a material document. So now I was saying that now what we need to do is we have checked the stock. Now we'll say we are happy with the quality. We want to move it to unrestricted stock. How do we do that? So transaction code is again MyGo. Okay, so go to that transaction, MyGo, and here select transfer posting, and select others. Okay, so make sure you select transfer posting and others. Okay, so what we're doing is we only sending from this area to this area, quality to unrestricted. Okay, and here enter the material. So what is the material you want to use? You want to send ABC123, ABC123. Okay, and how much quantity you want to send it to quotation. For example, there may be we received 100 pieces, right? And only 50 has been checked so far. So you can send 50 if you want, you can send 100 if you want. You can say, okay, I want to send 50. Press enter. Okay, you can see it's using by default movement type 321. Okay, so 321 is here, 321. From quality inspection to unrestricted, or if you want to go the other way around, unrestricted to quality inspection, it will be 322. Okay, so we're going from quality to unrestricted, 321. So by default showing you 321. Click on the check button saying enter a vendor.